Hey there folks, it's Dave Wood. I'm standing by my swimming pool, and today I wanted to do something a little bit special. Actually today and in the next episode I make. And so today's episode is actually a private training that I did for our affiliates. And in this video, what I'm doing is I'm walking them through what I call the Empower Wheel, which shows you the structure of experience that we create inside of Empower Network to help our team get results. And so this is a private training. It is just for the people that are in our network, and I decided I'm going to share it with you today. Regardless of whether you're in or not, you can take this, you can apply it into your business, and if you think about this, you will understand how to get massively bigger results. I'm really excited for you to see it. So right now, pay attention to the video that's beginning to play.
Why not take 5 minutes and just talk about the plan, right? And everybody loves plans, but more importantly, plans that make you money. And this year is going to be the best year of Empower Network ever. It's already turning this way. I have some extremely exciting things. I have some really exciting things that I've been working on, like really exciting. And like when you get the way that what we're doing fits together, when you get how it fits together into a, like, it's like every part has been a piece of the puzzle. It's like we just put in the final piece of the puzzle, the final piece. But it's not like we're not going to keep improving the puzzle, but we put in the final piece of the puzzle. So let me explain to you how this works and how you can make $100,000 this year. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to make $100,000 this year. You can see our income disclosure, and as you're looking at it, you can decide, and you can say I'm not average, right? Which is actually what I would encourage you to be, is not average, right? Because not average is more fun than average. And so let's check this out. So really quick, what's the plan? Right. Well, let's talk about it. And I didn't actually check the markers because this is a spontaneous live stream. So let me just continue to check them until I've got you guys. All right, check this out. So the plan. Let's talk about it. So right now, you guys are in this group, right? And a lot of you guys, like, you don't really know why we're doing the things we're doing. And some of you, you're not really doing it, and you're not doing it yet. And instead of doing it, what you're doing is you're focused on technical things. You're trying to set something up that doesn't require any setup. Or you're trying to learn what to do instead of just doing what we're telling you to do in very simple videos that are very step-by-step. And if you look at the engagement of this group, I'm super proud of you guys. You guys have been doing amazing things. And you've been doing amazing things because you guys are amazing. You gals are amazing. Husbands, wives, single folks out there, couples, you're amazing. And so let's check this out, the plan. The plan is really simple. It's a progressive plan. And when you understand this, when you understand that this is the plan and that this works, you're going to get behind it. And when you get behind it and you give it your energy, that's what makes a plan work. A plan is not workable if somebody's not working it, right? It's only workable if you work it. So let's check this out. So we have plan number one is we are starting you off in this audience building group, right? Now, here's the thing that I also want you to understand is that the next group really doesn't exist if you don't get invited into it, and you can't get invited into it if you don't do what's in here. So in other words, you will stay in this group forever, doing the same things over and over again. Even though those things can get you results, they compound the results when you get in the next groups, and you can't get invited into the next groups unless you're reporting every day here, because that's invite only. In other words, the groups that you can get in, you can't pay to get in these other groups. You can't pay. You can buy the products, you can learn the strategies, but the groups is where the community is going to support you to learn these skills, and you can't learn these skills if you don't learn the first skills first, because it's like Stephen Covey says, where he says first things first, right? You want to put things in order, because when you put things in order and you have an order in your business, it makes it to where you can master every part of the skill. You can master every part of the skills, right? So audience building, you need to do this. And you say, how do I get reported and invited into the next group? Well, here's what you got to do. You got to do the assignments, and you've got to report daily. Like, I actually won't invite people into the other group that don't report at least 5 days a week. Because you have to get results here, and you have to master this information, and it shouldn't take you any longer than about 2 weeks, because it's so simple. What we do is actually simple. It's actually simple to do, and it's simple to actually put together a plan to make $100,000 this year in your business, and to do it in a really reasonable schedule. The plan is actually really simple. It's really seamless all the way through. But here's the thing that I want you to understand. So audience building is number one, and the reason why you're audience building, the reason why you got to build your audience is because if you don't have an audience, if there's not an audience in front of you, you have nobody to talk with. And the people that you talk with, it's like you're trying to stop them from under the audiences and say, hey, here, look at me. But that's not very effective. What's effective is learning to build an audience, and then learning what to do with that audience, and learning to communicate with them in a compelling, attractive way, right? In a compelling, attractive way. Like when you see somebody, like the airplane going by, it's like you can't pay attention to anything else except for the sound of my voice. But it's like when you see a beautiful person walk by, everybody loves beautiful people. Look at that. And I'm not one. but you look at them and you're like, that person's beautiful. You want to be the person who people look at and say, what does this person know? How do they know these things? And I like this person. I like this person. This comes from we're teaching you how to do this in your group. And then the second group, really what it is I don't know if this will be the official name, but it's really what it is it's list building and sales, right? So when you have an audience, you have the ability to do list building, right, and sales. Now, if you don't have an audience, you really don't have the ability to do list building and sales. And the reason is because who are you going to sell to, right? You say, well, there's people everywhere. That's true. There's people in Walmart, right? They're not your audience. They're the audience of Walmart. That won't work very well. I used to do that, I know. In case you're wondering how I know all these strategies, it's because I've tried all these dumb things, and it took me much longer than it should take you. And I want you to shortcut time. That's why we call this group a shortcut. So in any case, we have list building and sales. Now, list building and sales, here's the thing. This group is, it's a prerequisite to get in the next group, and you'll have to report there too. Now, you say, well, I'm not an employee. Why do I have to report? Well, you don't have to report. You can be here and do what you like. You can do what you like as long as you're following the laws and see how it works out, you know? And maybe what you like to do will work for you. And maybe what you like to do, it doesn't work for you, and that's why you're here. You're here for a mentor. And I would like to be able to be mentor. I would like to be able to mentor you, but you need to report in this group. And I'm going to say at least 5 days a week. I think at least 6, but I'm going to say 5 because people are used to that. And, I believe in resting a day, right? And the reason I believe in resting is because I think resting is important to make your work great, right? And so 5 days a week, list building and sales. And here's the thing, list building and sales, we're going to have another thing where you have to report, right? I'm going to say 5 days a week, but minimum of 6. And then this is invitation only. In other words, we'll invite you here. We'll invite you here, and you say, well, how will you know to invite me? We'll know by your numbers. So when you report your numbers and we see your numbers and we know who you are, we'll say, Frank is reporting his numbers. Mary is reporting her numbers. Look, Frank is getting the results that he needs to be getting in this group. He's ready for the next step. And then we invite you, and you say you give a personal invite. Yes, it's a personal thing. It's not everybody. This moving to the next step is only for the people that want to step their game up, if that makes sense. So what we do is list building and sales. And the goal here really is simple. It's that in under a month, I want to get you recruiting 2 people a week. 2 people a week. Because if you can bring in 2 people a week, you're ready for what's next. Now, the thing is that even if you're not recruiting 2 people a week, if you're doing the actions and you're doing them and doing them and doing them and you're getting the first part of the results, we can invite you to what's next. But really, to invite you to what's next, you need to do what's in that group. You say, I want to be in that group. You can't. You need to do what's in this group first, and you need to be consistent, and you need to demonstrate yourself, and you need to show that the leader's like, I'm ready for mentoring. I'm ready. There's that old saying that says when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But the truth is the teacher might be there all the time, but you're not ready, so you don't see them, right? I like that old saying where it says, behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if anyone will open the door, I'll come in, And that's a Christian saying. But the thing is that if you are ready, you'll be invited into this special group, right? So these groups are invite only. This is for everyone that comes in, but you need to report, and we see who that is, and that's why we collect that information. And when you get into this group, our goal is to get you doing things that no matter how good you are, they will result in sales. But this doesn't work without this, and therefore this is the first step. This is the first step. So you're actually in the group with the most glorious step, which is this one right here. And this is first. It's building the audience list, building in sales. And then what? It is the 6-figure boot camp, right? And what's the 6-figure boot camp? I might rename this too. Well, it fits along the 6-figure builder club. We just started this. We just started the first one. And this is invite only. You say, I want to get in that one. Can I pay? No, you can't pay to get in. It's actually for all the people that in. It's actually free for them to get in. I don't know if it will continue to be free. Probably though, if all I got to do is get people producing, it pays for itself by those sales. This group of people right now, I have 17 people in that group, 17 people, and they've never done this before. And they're outselling the whole rest of Empower Network right now in 5 days, right? But see, I couldn't have invited them here if they didn't have this background. It wouldn't work for them the right way, right? So that was invite only. And you say, why didn't I get invited into that group? Because it was invite only. It's because it was selected. It was people selected from a certain group of people that are following assignments. And you say, I'm following assignments. Well, we'll get you there, right? So the 6-figure boot camp. Now, I have people in this. The goal is to help you master the skill to bring in 2 people a day, like fast, in a short amount of time. You won't even believe the results that people are getting. You wouldn't believe the results that they're getting. Now, here's the thing. Here, the 6-figure boot camp, You say, is that the last step? No, this is not the last step. But when you go to that, you will come out and be able to make 6 figures a year. Okay. You say, well, I want to be in there now. Okay. Fight for it. Right? Fight for it. We're looking for people that are the best at audience building to invite into the next group, Okay? Because the next time I can actually have that group. But you got to take action right now. You got to take action right now and say, what do I got to do? So Tracy I put a link to a training Tracy did. And that training with Tracy there, okay? That training describes what we do, and it has the links to all the videos that describe what we do. And if you just go through those videos and do those things, which are all very simple, this is the foundation that you need to move here, that you need to move here. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I'm going to draw out what I call this the Empower Wheel, okay? The Empower Wheel. And if you understand the Empower Wheel, you'll understand how all these things fit together. Now, when I draw this for you and you see it, you're going to understand it, okay? But you got to start here, right? You got to start right there, right? And when you start, you got to be willing to be good at that first step in anticipation that there's something next. You're like, well, how many more steps are there? I have things for you to do from right now all the way up to hitting the diamond level and making $30,000 a month, step by step all the way through. Now, if you're willing to do those steps, I actually believe I could help 100% of the people do it. I think I could help 100% of the people do it. The thing is, in this group that I've got right now, I take a look at the people in this group, and we've got 100% of them are getting results. 100% are getting results, right? 100% of them. And that shows that the skill is predictable, just like the audience building skill is absolutely predictable, and it won't go away because it's using social skills. Right? So let's talk about this, and let me just erase this with my hand. Let me show you the Empower Wheel and show you how this works, right? So there's a next step all the time in Empower Network, and then I'm going to get to, I got to go and I got to make some videos with Jose, and they're going to be short, okay? But this is for you guys. This is affiliate training. This is for you. This is for you to train you on how to get to the next step. So this is actually what we do. And so if you take a look at this, you can actually kind of know where you are in this wheel, right? So the thing is that we have, right, audiences, right? I'm going to start the wheel over to the left. That might not be the best place to start, but that's where I'm going to start it. And what we do is we learn to turn audiences into lists. And what's a list? A list is a group of people that said, yes, I want more information. They said, yes, I want more information. I want more information, right? That's what they said. And you could say, I want more information in the comments and do one of those heart things if you'd like, if you do. If you'd love more information, you can put a heart. So here's the thing, you go from audiences to lists. So from an audience, from a properly built audience, you build an incoming list. An incoming list is people that are actually engaging, commenting, interacting, asking. They're asking and saying, they're raising their hand and they're saying, me. They're raising their hand, they're saying, me. So if you want to raise your hand and say, me, you could do that, and then you can hit the heart button again. Now here's the thing, when you have a list, then you have a next step. And what's the next step? The next step is to recruit, right? And sell. Which really recruiting and selling are the same thing, so I'm just going to say recruit. Because this is an affiliate group, I can just say you're going to recruit and you're going to sell. Yeah, I want to put sell. So I'm going to put recruit and sell, right? So what do we get when we recruit and sell? Well, that results in something very simple. That results in a new member, right? A new member. So when you recruit and sell, you're successfully getting new members in some kind of way. And how do you do that? You build an audience, you build a list, and then you recruit and sell. And here's the thing, when you do this correctly, this is absolutely predictable. Absolutely predictable. Just like the airplane going by is predictable in its destination, this is absolutely predictable. Absolutely predictable, right? So it's absolutely predictable how to recruit. Like I'm getting 100% results with these people, and you can get 100% results too. See our income disclosure. This is for people that work, not for people that say, hey, Dave, I'm the one, I just won. Can you give me the lottery machine, please, Dave? And I'll say no, but I know where there's a lottery machine. You could go to Vegas. There's one there. I love you. I think it's that way. So here's the thing. We have a new member, and then what's the next step? We recruit and sell. We get a new member, and what's the next step? The next step is to get them on a new member coaching call, right? Well, now actually I'm going to go back. Acceleration training, right? Everybody needs to go through the same process. You need to go through the same process, and you can't shortcut. This is the shortcut. But you don't want to try to shortcut the shortcut because I'm going to show you what happens when you do, right? You already have the shortcut. You have the daily shortcut right here. So if you have the daily shortcut and you say, I want a faster shortcut, it's like, but this is the shortcut, right? This is the shortcut. Well, what if the shortcut happens to be a bridge over a giant valley? And you want to shortcut the shortcut in there, and so you step off the bridge and fall, right? That's exactly what happens when you try to shortcut the shortcut. This is the shortcut. It's going between the mountains. You can take the windy road down over there, right? But you get on the shortcut and you want to fall off. No, this is the shortcut. This is the daily shortcut. So here we have the acceleration training, right? So every member should go through the acceleration training. They should all go through the acceleration training, and the next step after that is to what? Is to get them on a new member coaching, You say, well, what's the new member coaching? The new member coaching is going to take that member and make them a personalized plan. We have a 31-day game plan. You're like, well, I haven't had a new member coaching. Okay, that's fine. We can do it as a group or something if we need to. But all your members should go through new member coaching, and the goal of the new member coaching is what? The goal of the new member coaching is to get them plugged into the system and plugged into the community. Because here's the thing, right? Tony Robbins is great at changing people, but you know what really changes people? People change, number one, but you know what really changes them? It's communities, right? Communities like this one. This will really change you. You say, I don't want to change. Well, maybe then you should go and get in a club. I heard it's downtown. It's called the Big Ego I Know Everything Club. And they are open for membership, and they don't coach anybody on anything, and they all brag about what they can do. But we like to change you. We like to change. And we do that by getting plugged into the community, plugged into the system, plugged into the products, right? Plugged into the events. We have a community that grows together. We grow you here. We grow as a community. So you get plugged into the community, and then what do? Well, you get plugged in. What is the goal of getting people plugged in? Is to get them into action mode. And what do they do when they get into action mode? What do they do is they complete the Empower Wheel. So it goes like this. The goal of that action they take is to build bigger audiences, that build bigger lists, that recruit and sell to more people, that result in new members going through the acceleration training, getting on a new member coaching, and getting plugged in, that's taking even more action, that compounds. And that, my friends, is the shortcut. So how do you do this? Well, you start here. And you say, yes, Dave, I am going to be good. I'm starting right here. And then what do you do? When you go through this Empower Wheel, and we call this the total shortcut. You say, well, I want a shorter shortcut. Well, let me show you what happens with your shorter shortcut. What happens is you do this. Imagine that you've got a wheel. We call this the Empower Wheel, and then what we do is we just take off these two steps. And so now what you've got is you don't have a wheel, you don't have a total shortcut. What you have is you have part of a wheel with a giant section missing, and now it looks like Pac-Man. And what Pac-Man does is Pac-Man eats people's wallets and makes them angry and chases around ghosts in a little video game. A bunch of teenagers wasting their time. But what it also does is if you try to install a Pac-Man wheel on your car, imagine if you put that on a BMW and said, I want to try this new kind of wheel, the Pac-Man wheel they would have told me about. And so you try the Pac-Man wheel and you start driving your car, and surprised! You've got to replace your axle every 3 weeks. Because what happens is every time you break this process, it makes it so the whole thing has to restart again, and parts of the car need to be replaced. It's better to just actually follow the daily shortcut. My friends, this is my message for the day. Like, share, comment, heart, and especially if you want to be, I want to be in that next group so bad, Dave. And it's like, have you watched the acceleration training yet? You know, have you actually watched the audience building yet? Are you actually reporting? Start today. It doesn't take any time to watch that and to do it. It just needs to start today. Start today to report. And I will be looking through this. We will be looking through as a leadership body, and we will say, yes, Jane and Mary, hallelujah. Jane and Mary are ready to get in the next group. I'm not actually saying Jane and Mary are. If your name is Jane or Mary, I love you both. Beautiful names. But I actually haven't seen you on the list. So report on the list. And we'll invite you into the next group when the time is right. Because you are ready. So the doorway is there, and we're knocking, and we're saying, hello, hello. Would you like to come in this special group? Would you like to walk in this room? I'm knocking, but I can't open the door for myself. It has to be you, and you do that by reporting. and active. And changing just a little bit each day. And even if your answer is, Dave, today my answer is 0, I want you to go in that report and put 0 in there and be truthful to yourself and say, I am going to be accountable.
Hey there, my friends, it's Dave Wood again, and so I hope you enjoyed that. That was a private Facebook training video. As you can see, as the birds are chirping, we've got helicopters flying by in Costa Rica here. This is an exciting group, and it's an exciting group that has training, and we have step-by-step procedures, and we also have a plan that actually stretches all the way from a brand new person way off into making multiple 5 figures a month. And so we can get you there. We're not going to promise you're going to get there because we won't promise you do the work. You can see our income disclosure, but right now what I want to do, I want to give you some bonuses. And so right below this video, you're going to see a place to put your email. When you put your email in, even if you can't hear me because the helicopter in the background is too loud, you can still put your email in, write a detailed, thoughtful comment. We might just send you a free book when you do that, or a free gift for participating in today's show. And when you put your email in there right now, you're going to be able to get your bonus, which includes an audio, it includes a PDF download of today's episode, and it's also going to include an opportunity for us to help work with you in order to help you create a personalized game plan for your business. If you want that now, go ahead and scroll and put in your email, and I'm going to see you on the next page. And then make sure to leave a detailed, thoughtful comment, engage with us, and tell us what you liked about today's episode of The Daily Shortcut. Appreciate you, my friend.
There would.
All right.